He's never home. He's supposed to be home sometimes.
Listen, you little ingrate. Your father works hard so we can have a house with 4 bathrooms.
Not every night he's not working. I know he's not.
Eve's Bayou is what happens when family secrets, voodoo, and cheating mix into one big southern mess. From psychic visions to deadly mistakes, nothing stays buried for long around here. Let's get into it, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The movie starts with a backstory about a general who freed a slave named Eve for saving his life. She bore him 16 kids. The narrator says she's named after her. The real movie kicks off at a house party. Everyone is dancing, gossiping about some lady who's been running around screwing half the town. We meet Eve, the middle child, Poe, the baby boy, and Cicely, the oldest daughter, who seems to be very mature for her age. Their dad, a doctor, is dancing with the same big booty lady everyone's been gossiping about. Folks are thrilled to watch them dance like it's a damn soap opera. He then dances with Cicely. Eve is clearly pissed. Meanwhile, Aunt Moselle's husband, Harry, asks Eve to dance. She says no and runs off to a building in the backyard. Eve falls asleep in the building and wakes up to a noise. She catches her dad screwing Maddie Moreau, the same big booty lady from before. They hear her gasp and immediately start gaslighting her like she didn't see what she just saw. Eve runs inside and tells Cicely what she saw. And what does Cicely do? Gaslight her too. This whole family got PhDs in lying and psychological manipulation. That night, Moselle and Harry leave. Harry's drunk and wants to drive. Everyone tells him not to, so Moselle ends up driving. He tries to fight the doctor, but they end up leaving without incident. Eve has a dream that night, and then we find out that Uncle Harry died. We then flash to Eve laying flowers on Harry's grave. She comes home and helps Moselle, who's deep in grief. Turns out Moselle's been married 3 times and every husband ended up dead. She's psychic, can see everybody's life but her own. Clients start showing up. She tells everybody's business without flinching. She even throws in some voodoo remedies. Later, Eve and Moselle are walking, and Eve asks if voodoo actually works. Moselle shrugs and says, "We'll see." That night, Roz, the mom, is crying. Louis walks in and gets ambushed by Roz, Grandmere, the grandmother, and Moselle about his cheating. Typical gaslighting and dodging from him. Eve starts going on doctor rounds with her dad. First client is still clutching her voodoo charm from Moselle. The second client, a pretty young lady, asking for pain meds. Louis sends Eve outside and proceeds to screw her too. Trash behavior. When Eve asks what's wrong with her, he says, "Some things are hard to put a finger on." Yeah, because you're putting your dick on it instead. Roz and Moselle have a heart-to-heart about how Roz thought Louis would be her healer and moved to the swamp for him. Turns out he's just another man. They head to a marketplace where Roz decides to get her fortune told by Elzora. Moselle calls Elzora a sideshow attraction, but Roz goes anyway. Elzora tells Roz her pain will end and that sometimes a soldier falls on his own sword. Moselle gets spooked, then tries to get her own fortune read. Elzora calls her a black widow, says every man she marries will die. Then Moselle flips out, "Salmon Taz! You're an old lying witch!" and storms off. Moselle then has a premonition about a kid getting hit by a bus. Roz and Moselle lock the kids inside for the summer. Louis tries to call Moselle crazy, but Grandmere steps in and says she might be crazy, but those visions always come true. Cicely keeps rolling her eyes, talking back. The kids are bored to death. No TVs, no iPads at this time. Just pranks and bickering. Eve finally snaps, says she's tired of being locked up, and snitches to Moselle that her daddy's been creeping. Moselle basically says, "Girl, he loves y'all, but yeah, he's trash." She trauma dumps about her first husband, Maynard, how she was cheating with a man named Jose. Maynard tried to stop it, and Jose shot him dead. The family history is just full of bad decisions. Next day, it's raining. Moselle opens the door to a man named Julian. He's looking for his wife. Turns out she's cheating. Moselle reads him like a book. Later, Cicely sneaks out the house, crosses train tracks, gets a haircut to look like her mama, and comes back smug like she didn't almost die. Mama slaps her. Honestly deserved. That night, Cicely's waiting up for Louis. Roz tells her that if she disobeys her again, that she'll lock her in her room, and tells her that she doesn't want her staying up late waiting for her dad anymore. That night, Roz and Louis argue again. Then sometime later, Julian says he's divorcing his cheating wife and wants to marry Moselle. Then, the vision finally comes true. A random kid gets hit by a bus. The kids are free now. Then later, Cicely starts her period. Eve screams and outs her. Chaos ensues. Louis tries to inspect her, but Cicely freaks out and says no. 2 weeks later, Cicely's still spiraling, not eating, not sleeping. Roz blames herself. Cicely sees a psychologist who says she needs a vacation from the family. Roz agrees to send her to her mother's house. Cicely tells Eve about what happened the night of the storm. Cicely says she sat on her dad's lap because she was scared that Louis would divorce them. She said she gave Louis a hug, then gave him a kiss, but then he started to intensely kiss her. She pushed him away and he slapped her. Eve's obviously upset and vows she's gonna kill him. Next day, Cicely leaves with Roz. Louis drops them off. That night, Eve asks Moselle how to kill someone with voodoo. Moselle says maybe with hair and a doll, but acts like it's just fantasy. Eve ain't playing though. The next day, she steals some money, grabs hair from Louis's comb, and heads to the market. On the way, she runs into Maddie's husband, Lenny Monroe. Plants a seed in his head that Maddie and Louis might be a little too friendly.
Maddie don't seem like the lonely type. You must get home real late. So does my daddy every night. My mama gets real lonely, but then she's the lonely type. Not like Daddy and Maddie.
Then she finds Elzora, tells her she's got $20 and wants someone dead. Elzora says bring hair and come back Thursday, but Eve already has the hair. But Thursday comes, Eve shows up looking for a voodoo doll. But Elzora tells her that's not how it works. And it's too late. She's already buried a wax coffin with his hair inside a snake's mouth at the graveyard. Eve's mad because she thought she'd have control over when it happened. Eve runs to a local bar, finds her dad booed up with Maddie, tells him to come home. Maddie looks annoyed as hell. Outside, Eve sees Lenny coming. Inside, Lenny walks up to Louis and asks,
"You fucking my wife?"
Louis denies it, of course. Lenny tells him he trusted him, loved him even. Lenny tells Louis if
Listen, you so much as speak to my wife again, and I will kill you.
They head outside. Louis throws on his hat, tells Lenny to sober up and apologize later. As Louis walks off, he says goodbye to Maddie.
Night, Maddie.
Lenny pulls a gun. Louis pushes Eve to the ground, but gets shot twice. Eve screams. Louis is dead. We cut to Louis's funeral. Cicely's crying. Eve's crying. Roz, dry-eyed like a damn desert. Elzora is lurking in the background, watching like she won bingo night. Later, all the kids are piled into Roz's bed. Look to your children. Prophecy fulfilled. Sometime later, Eve plays with his old hat and stethoscope. Finds a letter he wrote to Moselle, defending himself. He claims Cicely kissed him like a woman and he slapped her away. Eve confronts Cicely. Cicely admits he hurt her, but says her memory is fragmented. The movie ends with Eve tossing the letter into the swamp. She says memory is tricky. Depending on the light, the truth changes. And that's the end of the movie, and here are my final thoughts. Eve's Bayou. Oh my god, I love this movie, and rewatching it as an adult makes me love it even more. I love learning about voodoo and I love witchcraft movies. I just love it. Let's start off with let's see how we gonna do this. Okay, let's start with the children. Eve was fine. I mean, she was a kid. Poor Poe barely spoke. He was the baby. That sounds about right. Cicely, she just was, I can't say that. She was in a emotionally incestual relationship with her father, okay? I don't know how else to say that, okay? I'm gonna get demonetized. Oh, I'm not even monetized yet. I don't know how else to say that, okay? Because I don't want this to be taken down. So she was in like a really weird situation with her father. She really saw him as the hero, and that's exactly what he was looking for in the women that he was cheating with. So it was like he was grooming her. It was really a strange setup. And it's really hard to tell exactly what happened that night. There's really no telling because both of them had different recollections of the same thing. And you got to think about it. Louis was very drunk whenever he came home because he said in the letter that he had been drinking or whatever. So his ideal of what happened probably is totally different in a drunk mindset, and Cicely's mindset of what happened was probably erased because of trauma of what actually happened. So who knows what really happened, but I really think he really enjoyed the hero worship that she gave him, and it made him feel like a man, and that's why he cheated so much as well. I felt sorry for the mama. She not only had to deal with her husband cheating and shit like that, but she also had to deal with Cicely's badass attitude, okay, and her constant defiance and everything. And then having women call in the house saying that they had kids by him and stuff like that is just so traumatic. Elzora, I loved Elzora. She was like spilling so much tea and shade, and nobody wanted to hear it, but like everybody should have heard it. Like she was telling the truth. She knew that Moselle had a curse on her. She was the Black Widow, and she told Roz to look to her children, and a man sometimes falls on his own sword, and that's exactly what happened. His arrogance caused his death at the end of the movie. Like, it's nothing else to be said. Like, had he just not, first off, not messing with Lenny's wife in the first place, but like to even antagonize him even more, knowing that he's drunk and stuff and he's in a heightened state and he already is accusing you of cheating with his wife while he's away. Like, I guess common sense wasn't too common. Okay, I don't know what else to say about his actions, but he deserved what he got. I don't want to say people deserve to die because they cheat on their significant others, but I always say you cannot hurt people and do things to people and expect them to react a certain way. You never know how someone's going to react to something that you've done to them. So if you're worried about someone crashing out or you don't know how they're going to react, then maybe you should like chill out a little bit and stop triggering people to the point that they do crash out and potentially unalive your ass. Okay, like, come on, Lewis. Like, he was doing some reckless shit. Like, he was cheating with the patients and stuff like that. He was setting himself up for medical malpractice. Like, oh my goodness, he was one of these male celebrities that are out here right now that are getting they money taken from them because he couldn't keep his penis in his pants. Oh my goodness. I love Mozelle's storyline about her husband's dying and all that stuff, but she was a cheater too, and she said that, hey, me and my brother are quite the same because she cheated on her husbands, and she was the reason why one of her husbands got killed in the first place. We don't know what happened to her lover Jose, but either he went to jail or he died or something happened. We know that her first husband died, then her second husband Maynard died. We don't know how the first husband died, and then we know that the Harry, the third husband, died at the beginning of the movie, and then we have Julian that just came here. He ready to die too. Like, oh my goodness, poor Moselle. And poor these men. Like, ooh, imagine being told that you got anything you need to tell me before we get together. Well, oh my gosh. Anyways, I love this movie. It doesn't trigger me as much as Soul Food does. So if you saw my last review of Soul Food, then you would understand why I'm saying this right now. But it's a really good movie. You should watch it. It is 10 out of 10. And I even love it at this old age of mine. And it just really aged well for me. So 10 out of 10, watch the movie. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any movies you want me to recap or rant on, feel free to comment it below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.